Good afternoon. I am coming at you today from my living room because my shop isn't done yet. Hopefully in the coming week, but it's not done now. I'm here to give you a little bit of information and introduce you to my new winch. I have an Openroad 13,000 pound winch that I will be installing into Janky. So Janky currently has a worn 9.5 Ti mounted in the bumper. It was in there when I bought it. I suspect that the winch is fairly close to original with the truck. I think it was installed shortly after the truck was purchased new, which makes the, what is it, it's 2023 and the 7, and it makes it, I don't know, really old. It's like 15 years old. So you've seen me out on the trail a couple times using that worn winch, and it worked okay out on the trail, and especially when I have the magic of video editing, because you can't see me going click, 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 click with the thing and nothing responding. I think the problem that I was having with the winch wasn't so much with the motor assembly, although you saw me take that apart and rebuild it as well, but I think it was actually in the control unit and the relays that, there's Bjorn. I think the problem I was having was the actual control box and the relays inside the control box that control the motor, whether it's going this way or that way or spinning in or out. It would wind in just fine, but click, 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 it didn't want to wind out. So I knew I needed to do something about getting myself into a new winch or fixing that one there, and possibly maybe I could just buy a new control box, but what if that wasn't the answer or the solution? Looking at Warren's website and a few other places, it looked like I was going to be about $350 into a new control box so that I could control this 15-year-old winch if that was the problem. I might end up $350 into a control box to just have, I don't know, one of the connections was bad inside the motor assembly, but a new motor assembly was going to be a little over $300. It's like $350, and I just thought, but to hell with it. It's an old winch, right? And I have heard fantastic things about these Openroad winches. I've talked to a couple guys that own them and that have used them, and yeah, those things work great. The money is bang on. From looking into it, this appears to be a fantastic option. It's a 13,000 pound winch versus the 9,500 pound winch that I have on Janky now. Now it's a worn winch and this is an Openroad. This is a little less known brand, but hey, moving on with the times, right? Just because it's a newer brand that you haven't heard of before doesn't mean it's garbage. And you get this whole package. It comes, as you see it now, I mean, there's a whole control box and everything else that's still in the box. It comes with the synthetic rope. It comes with multiple wireless remotes to control the winch while you're out on the trail. It comes with a plug-in, comes with everything you need. It's boxed up very well. I really like it. And at the price, you absolutely can't go wrong. And if you follow the link in the description below, you get an extra $140 off of that. So now we're at less than $300 for a 13,000 pound winch that fits into your ARB bumper, and it fits all of the same places that the 9,500 pound winches normally fit because it's the same size. So if you ask me, this is a fantastic deal as is. So I reached out to Openroad, said, hey, why don't you get me one of those things? They ship these to you from a warehouse here in the United States, so this isn't something that you have to order from China and it takes forever to get, and everybody knows how annoying that is. And there's supply chain issues right now and everything else. No, I ordered this up. It was at my doorstep like 2 or 3 days later. It's a fantastic program. So what I need to do now, the first step of installing this into Janky, into that ARB bumper, is I need to do what's called clocking the winch. On a standard winch bumper, or if you just have a winch plate attached to your factory bumper or however you do it, the configuration that you see here is typically how winches are mounted. You can see that the feet are down and that the bolts come in from underneath to grab it that way, and all of the controls are on top. Everything's right where you want it. Well, I have an ARB bumper on the front of Janky, and the way they mount these things is feet forward. So in my bumper in Janky, it will be mounted this way, where the feet, if you will, go forward, the bolts come in from the front, and it feeds out this way. And there's some inherent advantages to building the bumper that way. The packaging is a little different, whatever. Problem that you run into is now, standing from where you're at, if you picture the bumper here and there's a great big hole up here to reach down and engage or disengage that clutch, how are you gonna reach it, right? Because this is twisted over on its side, and now the clutch is back here, and it's gonna be real hard to reach in and try and get that. So what I've gotta do before I can mount this into the bumper is I have to pull this whole clutch assembly off, rotate it up 90 degrees so that it will be reachable, and put it back together. First thing you're gonna do, take your 6mm Allen wrench, and you'll remove the 2 bolts that go through the clutch casing into the spreader bars across the top of the winch. And then this will just go ahead and the whole thing will just go ahead and slide apart. So you can see that separates super easy. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and take this, I'm gonna set it over here just to get it out of the way so I can go ahead and work on the clutch. That won't fall over, right? It'll be okay. Okay, so with this now sitting in front of us here, we'll just go ahead and take all of these bolts out here so that we can then lift this bulkhead up and rotate it around to whatever direction we need it to go. Okay, so with all of those bolts loose, I left them in the holes just because it'll make it easier to align it when I put it back on. We can just lift this straight up. You want to watch out underneath because there is a paper gasket. So make sure you don't catch that and tear that. You can actually see there's the paper gasket right there that we're being careful with. So we're just going to rotate this 90 degrees. Now because of the bolt pattern and the bolt spacing, unfortunately you can't run exactly 90 degrees. You would have to run a little bit less or you have to run a little bit more. And from looking at the bumper and how it fits and how my hand needs to fit in there, I have decided I'm gonna run this just a little bit farther than 90 degrees. So I'm just gonna go ahead and line that back up, get that down there so that all the bolts get started again. And now we just tighten them back up. Boom. All those are tight. This is all packaged back together, ready to get thrown back on the rest of the winch. So now it's ready to go into the bumper when the feet are mounted, when the dog walks through. When the feet are mounted forward, you have access to the clutch. And I actually kind of like it this way that most of the wiring is actually now at the back of the motor assembly, keeping the wires a little bit more safe and secure. So now all I have to do, rip the bumper off of Janky, take the old winch out, put this new winch in, put the bumper back on, and I'll be in business. Okay, so I'm in the shop. We got to get the bumper off of Janky and get the winch changed out. Unfortunately, shop's not done yet. Still have regular door. I'm not sure when that's gonna happen. Soon, I hope soon. We've got the winch ready here. I've got pretty much all the dogs. There's no dog around here. Yeah, see, more dogs, all right? I bought this attachment for my jack at the suggestion of my boys Jay Anderson and John Stevens. I guess John has one of these for his jack, and they used it when they put the rear bumper on Jay's Tacoma, and it looked fantastic. And I thought, well, okay, that seems like a reasonable idea. That may make it a little bit easier to get under here and stabilize this. The last time I took this bumper off, I had a forklift. I don't have a forklift now, so just got to be creative. And I suppose I could just man up and like, you know, grab it, but I think that's a good way to get broken toes. So first thing we're gonna do, we gotta disconnect the battery cables. These are the cables that actually go down to the winch. They go all the way down through here and that mess. So we gotta take those out. And then I've got a skid plate underneath that'll come off. And then really at that point, everything is self-contained into the bumper. We can just get the bumper off of there. Okay, so it actually looks, so it actually looks like the John Stevens whatever support bar here is actually going to work fairly well. It fits right up underneath the mounting pad here. It fits the mounting pad over there. But it's a good start. It's a good idea. What do you think, Bjorn? You think it's a good idea? What do you think? I just want you to throw the ball, Dad. I want you to throw the ball. You have to drop the ball. You have to, no, but you have to drop the ball. Boy, this is all day. You have to drop the ball. I can't throw it if you don't drop it. Oh, and the slobbers. All right, I'm gonna get back to work. Okay, so I've got all the mounting bolts taken out for the bumper. You can see down here, I actually have a couple of them still sitting in there, but they're all taken off, they're all loose. So now I'm gonna prep kind of the rest of the pieces and parts to come out of here. I'm gonna take the fair lead out. I just think maybe it's easier to get everything loosened up now. I don't think I'm gonna take it all the way apart now, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the winch loosened up, and I'm going to take the whatever little clevis piece off the end of the winch line. So maybe it's easier to get this stuff done while it's still kind of being held by the truck a little bit. So here I go. Okay, so it's now all the way apart. You can see nothing left on janky over here, bumpers on the ground, controllers over there, and you can see the old winch there, and here's the new winch. You can actually see the new 13,000 pound winch is actually smaller than my old 9,500 pound winch. So, yay. So now I need to figure out if I'm gonna mount this winch controller up on top of the bumper up here where the old one was, or what I'd really like to do is see if I could mount it down in here somewhere, or even, you know, like put it right there. If I do this, I'm gonna have to run the wires all the way from here up and around. I don't know if I have cables that are long enough. So I guess I'm gonna start taking a peek at wires and lengths and see what needs to go where, and we'll see where this ends up. So after looking at it a bit, I have decided I'm going to mount the control box right there. It's going to go up on top of the fuse box. I already checked it fits under the hood when the hood is closed. And this is just going to make it a little bit easier to get the power wires here. Everything should be a little bit cleaner. It's tucked away. I may end up regretting this, but I've never really liked the way the controller looked up there. I wasn't super unhappy, like that's where the winch controller typically goes and you see everybody on the trail, whatever. But the bracket that it was mounted to, nothing fit quite right and it kind of shook around or whatever. But with the Openroad 4x4 winch, it actually has wireless controllers. Now, I think to use the wireless controllers, you have to reach in and there's a little silver whatever button on the side and you have to do that. But all I'm gonna have to do at that point is just pop the hood open, reach in, click it to turn it on, and then I'll be able to use my wireless controller to control the winch. And the control box will be in here where it's a little bit safer from debris and it's not gonna get so much mud right there or possibly even be submerged. So again, I might live to regret this, but I think this is the right way to go. The only problem with this is now it's so far away that the cables don't reach it. So I'm going to have to swap out a couple of these longer cables from the old winch control box that I've already stolen, so I'm glad that I had them. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch those out so that the cables will reach down all the way into the bumper, and I'm gonna get rolling. Here we go. Okay, that's it. I am done. Bumper's back on. The winch is in. The winch works. The wireless control is awesome. So let's say you're out on a trail and you're running a double line pull, and so you want to get your snatch block hooked up. You can use this wireless remote to zit, 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 kind of pull the winch in and make sure everything is aligned properly before getting all the way back into your vehicle to finish the pull. It also, of course, comes with a hand controller. And this hand controller, you lift this up, you can plug this in here, and you can control it manually instead of having the remote, just in case the batteries die or for whatever reason you like to have the thing on a cord. But so far, without having used it out in the wild and having to, you know, kind of recover myself, I am super happy with the way this went. The control box being underneath the hood, I think it's very clean. It leaves this whole area open here. Now we don't have to worry about the control box being damaged or, you know, struck by any rocks or whatever. With the hood closed, it presents a very clean appearance. And now there's a little bit more room up here in the front for lights, which I've been looking at. I'm not a big fan of light bars, but I wanted to get some brighter lights out here, especially I'm living out in the country and all the time, like, it's too dark, I can't see. So I want to get some big lights on here. I didn't know if I was going to be able to fit 9-inch lights with the winch controller in the middle. Maybe I'd have to go 7-inch, and quite frankly, I don't know if 9-inch lights will fit in this space here anyway, so I may end up with 7 anyway. But I like this. I like the way it looks. Love the Factor 55 flat length that I put in there. So hopefully next weekend I'll be able to get back out there and get out on the trail and get ourselves stuck enough that we're gonna need to use the winch. So, I mean, it's only an FJ, right? It's fairly easy to get stuck. And I have my beautiful wife she's in the pool over there. It's really far away. You gotta wave. See, she's waving. See? I'm a pretty lucky guy. So thank you again to Openroad 4x4 for sending me out this winch, and I can't wait to get out and test it. It seems awesome so far. I'm super excited. Fit down in the bumper perfectly. Everything's nice and clean. It looks like a fantastic option. Don't forget to use the code in the description below, Everyman140, to save yourself $140 off that winch right now. It's a fantastic winch at a fantastic price. You just can't go wrong. So thank you, Openroad 4x4. And thank you for watching. As always, if you like the video, click that like button. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future notifications on all the adventures we're going on. You can't wait to see this big pig stuck in the mud again, right? With the big old winch on the front and the fat guy in the mud. Who doesn't want to see that? Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.